on Headline News, online, on iTunes, however you are watching us today. Thanks for checking out CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azus. First up, we are heading to Denver, Colorado, where day one of the Democratic National Convention is in the books. We're going to shine a political spotlight on the GOP next week, but right now, focus is on the Democrats. More than 4,400 delegates gathered at the Pepsi Center on Monday as Democratic Committee Chairman Howard Dean called the convention to order. On Thursday, the event's moving over to Invesco Field, home of the Denver Broncos. That is where Barack Obama will formally accept his party's nomination and give the first outdoor acceptance speech since 1960. But before we look ahead, let's look back at some of the convention's highlights from Monday, including a keynote address from the candidate's wife, Michelle Obama.
The 45th Quadrennial National Convention of the Democratic Party will now come to order.
There were over 1,600 platform hearings in every state in the Union. This platform reflects their concerns and their hopes.
The future started yesterday, and we're already late.
This week is the culmination of an historic race that has brought millions of voters to the polls.
God bless America. Search for someone to lead. We've been looking for the world to change.
With little more than our faith in each other and a hunger for change, we joined my husband Barack Obama on the improbable journey that has led us to this moment. I come here as a wife who loves my husband and believes he will be an extraordinary president.
Time for the shout out. One animal is featured on the logo of the Democratic Party. If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it a bear, eagle, bison, or donkey? You've got 3 seconds. Go. The Democratic donkey was popularized by a cartoonist in the late 1870s. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
Back to the candidates. Obama's opponent, Republican Senator John McCain, was in his home state of Arizona yesterday, where a celebrity endorsement added a little gasolina to his campaign. McCain spoke at an event at Central High in Phoenix. That's the school where his wife Cindy graduated in 1972. McCain picked up a couple custom-made jerseys and the support of Puerto Rican reggae star Daddy Yankee. The Republican candidate also spent some time talking about his Democratic opponent.
This is a tough presidential campaign we're in. I have a very honorable opponent and one who will receive the nomination of his party this week in Denver, and I look forward to the last couple of months of the campaign with him. There are stark differences between us, but I think all of you can be proud that, again, this country will go through an experience and the most fundamental part of democracy.
The Democratic and Republican conventions will dominate news coverage over the next couple weeks. That is why they are our Talking Democracy topic this month. We want you to be part of this conversation. Break out those video cameras. Give us your take on these massive events in an iReport. You will need to get your parents' permission first. You can find out how to submit your videos at cnnstudentnews.com.
It kind of started bending a little bit, and then it would just move back and it went over more towards our neighbor's house. Oh, it was so scary. It was like the scariest thing ever.
This is what they were talking about. A pair of twisters touched down in Colorado on Sunday. You can see in this video that the storms kicked up massive amounts of dust. It looked to be dangerously close to some homes in the area, as you can see from that shot right there. Now, luckily, officials said there were no reports of damage or injuries. The tornadoes hit about 20 miles south of Denver, right on the eve of the Democratic convention. A different kind of severe weather is threatening Haiti and the Dominican Republic as Tropical Storm Gustav follows on the heels of Faye. Hurricane warnings were in effect for some areas after Gustav formed on Sunday. Experts warn it could dump more than 2 feet of rain on parts of the region, which just suffered through Tropical Storm Faye less than 2 weeks ago.
A word to the wise, autonomy, a state of being self-governing, especially having the right of self-government.
Two provinces in the country of Georgia want autonomy, and they're taking their case to Russia. South Ossetia and Abkhazia, they're officially part of Georgia, but they have their own governments, and those are supported by Russia. You probably remember the recent clashes between the two nations. It was sparked by events in one of those provinces. Now, the fighting has cooled down, but as Phil Black tells us, the tension over the status of these provinces is heating back up.
In South Ossetia, they're not thinking about the potential global impact of their desire to break away from Georgia, but they are determined to have their own country. The region's president, Eduard Kikoiti, spoke at a rally in the capital Skinvali just last week, telling his people he would ask Russia to recognize South Ossetia's independence. Monday, he made that appeal in person at Russia's parliament.
I appeal to the President of the Russian Federation to recognize South Ossetia as a sovereign, independent state.
The leader of Georgia's other separatist territory, Abkhazia, also argued for independence.
Neither Abkhazia nor South Ossetia will ever again be part of one state with Georgia.
Russia's parliament can't officially recognize their independence, but it can ask Russia's president to do so. That formal request to Dmitry Medvedev sailed through both the upper and lower house with a unanimous vote. The parliament's will is not legally binding on the Kremlin, but President Medvedev has previously spoken about respecting the will of the people of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. He must now decide if he is prepared to risk further upsetting the West, who insist those territories must remain part of Georgia. Russian support for these breakaway regions could be payback over Kosovo. The Serbian province declared independence in February with support from the West, despite strong objections from Moscow. South Ossetia and Abkhazia have been largely autonomous since the breakup of the Soviet Union, but they say they must break away from Georgia entirely because of the recent conflict. Georgia says it still wants to reunite the whole country under the Georgian flag. Phil Black, CNN, Moscow.
It is time for a little fall football under the Friday night lights. At a lot of schools, you know it's game day when team members and cheerleaders wear their uniforms around campus. What's fine for the field doesn't always work for the classroom. One Ohio school district altered its dress code during the summer and ruled that the cheerleaders' skirts don't make the cut. Andrew Setters of affiliate WLWT has the details.
I don't think that the length of a skirt affects education.
While the Monroe High School cheerleaders were showing off tonight, they were not dressed this way earlier. Many wore long shorts and T-shirts, then put their uniforms on over the top during their pep rally. They've been warned their skirts will violate the school's dress code.
The skirts that the cheerleaders wear are very short and they're very tight and they're slit so that they can do the gymnastics that are required of a cheerleader.
The superintendent says the girls need to wear something else during the school day. The skirts are only okay during assemblies and games.
You want to have students wear appropriate clothing during the educational period of the day, and then after school wear the appropriate clothing for the event.
My daughter's a senior. This is her last year. We've paid for uniforms, and they should be able to wear them on game day.
For parents, it's frustrating to have the school say that the uniforms they provided come up short.
They conduct themselves like ladies. They are representatives of the school, and I think they all handle themselves very well. And I think that it's ridiculous.
You know we will be blogging about that. Now, before we go, one farmer digs up the world's most famous mouse, or at least a potato that looks a lot like him. Rick Brown says his jaw dropped when he discovered this twisted tuber in his garden. I mean, how often do you stumble across a spud that's the spitting image of Mickey? Brown's been planting potatoes for 30 years, but this is his first veggie look-alike. Normally the goodies from his garden end up on his dinner plate, but for this one, he's planning on saving this special spud. That mysterious masher's where we peel on out of here, and if you're groaning, I don't take the blame. I didn't write it. I'm Carl Azus. You guys have a great day.